I got to retrain myself to see LG instead of IG. Should start going like capitals, you know. I guess that also looks like what is it? The electronics company.
Yeah, I think it's maybe just programmer. I don't know. I always default to lower camel case.
Smart.
There's not really a good reason for anything outside of programming.
Kind of works. I still use 2 slashes in my notes when I cross stuff out. It's like, hey, it's commented out of my notes now. It's not real.
I 100% approve.
Uh, I'm just I'm just going to delay letting people in by like 2 minutes or something. I just need to post something and then we can start the AMA. I'm going to let the people know. Hold on.
Are you telling me that nobody wants to listen to my stories? I'm not going to be hurt. I'm cool to just talk to Rob this whole time.
I feel like there should be that rule where if like nobody shows up for 10 minutes, we can just go home, right?
That would be nice. GDC is a little bit too wild this time because everybody flew back in, so lost my voice just a little bit.
How's it going so far?
It's been pretty good. I actually run into sort of like in a casual social
Unicorn fam, welcome to the CryptoUnicorns Bi-Weekly Town Hall number 33. This is Sparkly Unicorn with Witty Unicorn on Tech. Say hi. Okay. So for those not in the know, town hall events happen bi-weekly instead of weekly. Half of the town hall events will be handled by Aaron, as usual, who is amazing at letting us know and visualize the long term of CU. The other half of town hall events will be handled by members of the internal team, who can provide deeper knowledge on specific things such as game design and game economy. Now, though, in all other respects, the town hall will be in a similar format as the ones we previously held. This is our 33rd Town Hall event. Let's introduce who we have on stage for today. We have Bryce, lgRob, and Zyori ready to say hi, share updates, and answer questions.
Hi.
Yeah, how about you guys introduce yourself?
Yeah, why don't you go first, Rice?
Oh, hi everyone. I'm Rice. I'm the executive producer here, doing a lot of various things. I've been working in games for 12 years so far. I am an artist and educator by training. I've been working through mobile free-to-play era for various of game genre, and then did a little bit AAA games. My day-to-day has mostly been working with internal game teams and also building sort of a process and pipeline for external teams. So at Laguna, I'm focusing on working with a lot of external development teams, that including second parties and also all those merge stuff. So yeah, fun stuff.
Wow. Cool. Well, a lot of y'all probably know me. I'm Zyori. I'm halfway through my third week now at Laguna. So I'm still kind of onboarding, getting my feet wet, but excited to be really starting to dive more understanding of what we've got in the pipeline. Jousting just came out, so it's been cool to like observe that launch. I feel like I joined at a really great time with so much stuff that's going on now and then a lot of stuff coming. So we'll go into more details about what I'm working on, I think, in a bit. But glad to be here and excited about unicorns.
And I'm lgRob. I'm the tech director for CryptoUnicorns and Laguna Games. So that means that I oversee 4 teams of engineers, the game client, the server team, the web team, and the smart contract team. I've been attached to crypto since about 2016, kind of overseeing teams and projects working on things in that sphere. And sort of responsibility wise, I also am kind of in charge of the high level system architecture. So I can kind of field questions about really how things work and sort of why technology gives us different sort of limitations and constraints and synergies across our system.
Thank you for that. This is our 33rd Town Hall event, signaling that the end is near for the winter event. And what a relief it is to our players who have spent almost 3 months gathering snowflakes. It's time to fight off the cold and get your bodies warm by revving up for jousting. Let's introduce who we have on stage for today. We have Rice, lgRob, and Zyori. And say hi. Could you guys share updates?
I can probably go first on general updates. The first thing that we dove into is this new player guide. I think one thing that is missing in the crypto unicorn universe largely is like the high level funnel and like the summary, that snappy. Tell me in 2 sentences what we're doing in crypto unicorns and why it's really cool and exciting. So the new player guide tries to bridge that gap a little bit with all the airdrops and different things that have been going on where we're trying to synergize with these other communities, trying to make sure that once people get the assets, they know what to do with them, how to get started, understand the basic strategy. And now that there's jousting and other games in the pretty near pipeline, it's important that people understand the basics of like locking assets and that kind of stuff. So my airdrop giveaway thing that we did right when I joined, I think was a great experiment to see on a slightly larger scale where people fall off in the funnel, and then starting to patch up those holes a little bit and improve the flow to hopefully start getting even better conversions. Even though some of the conversion numbers on my drop actually looked pretty good, I was pleasantly surprised. So the new user guide was important, and next we're going to organize like the big kind of Bible, if you will, of deeper, denser information that has more strategy. The community's already created a lot of these kind of guides and information, so it's just about organizing it and presenting it in a way that's friendly and searchable and all that kind of stuff. I've also got office hours open, so just a PSA to anyone. You might have seen me spamming in some of the channels, but I have a Calendly floating around. I think it's just Unicorn Zyori. There's some time slots available, so if anyone wants to grab some time, I'm still onboarding, figuring out what's going on. So it's great to hear from community members, hear pain points, hear things that are going right, going wrong, and just get a sense of where expectations are. I could be a good resource for you if you want to get a little bit of face time. So feel free to grab some time there if it suits you. I don't want to hog the mic too much, but I'm also working on some lore-related stuff, trying to organize the story and figure out where the holes are there, and just give a little more context to the unicorn universe. So it's going to take me a while. There's a lot of moving parts there, but excited to be working on the storytelling side of crypto unicorns and piece all that together.
Hi, sorry about that. We're kind of having technical difficulties on our end. But yeah, could you continue, Rice? Thank you.
I can go on. So I'm based in San Francisco. So this week is actually quite big for a lot of the game developer. In San Francisco, we have this game developer conference and also the Game Connect. That is a global event, and then there's a lot of game developer and professional service providers and people who build tools, platforms are all here. And there's also a lot of the open events that is for people who are interested in joining the game industry. So it's been quite busy. Everyone is kind of running around. I briefly catch Aaron in the office this morning, and he's heading toward to a breakfast meeting. Like, it's very packed for a lot of folks' schedule. And we're proudly talking about our Joust launch last week, to people who already know Crypto Unicorns or who hasn't really heard about us. So it's been pretty fun this week. I have a couple more updates regarding to all the external development things going on. So I'm just going to go with my long laundry list here. Bear with me. Ting RPG, we are in the very final stage of preparing the prototype launch. So QA team is actually kicking off some final testing at the moment. We're also building some of the survey that will be run through SurveyMonkey. As the all the players here experimenting and trying to play with the prototype, we want to collect as much feedback as possible for us to keep building and growing from the prototype to actual final game feature. So there'll be a lot of conversation. We're planning on opening some workshop just to have conversation with the player here. And also, when we kick off the Ting RPG play event, it will be a 6-week long duration, and we're also going to roll out our leaderboard for anyone who participate and also doing really well in the play event. The 2 game mode will be put into governance proposal. So that will be going into the official the SRVW holder voting. Currently is roughly scheduled around end of May. So that will be also the end of the play event window. Next up is Unicorn Party. That is going to be the next thing coming up. I actually personally able to meet up with our developers, Ibazu and Koda, this week. So it was a really interesting things to see them in person and just kind of generally having a good time and having some conversation about preparing the launch as well. So both of the Unicorn Party mini game, Bumper Corn and Mob Run, they're in the very tail of the game part of the polishing. And we're going to start working towards to the end-to-end so-called. So there will be some satellite bank system. Our ticket system is also going to roll out. So that's another technology that Rob has been building with the team and also alongside with the second party. So those testing are coming out. We're going to start rolling out for our internal QA and doing some of the testing pretty soon. Currently, we're going to target Bumper Corn, the first game mode. We're trying to target for end of April that we'll be releasing. And Unicorn Party is going to be a cross-platform game, meaning that you will be able to play on WebGL as well as Android downloadable bit. So that is something coming up.
Nice.
Yep.
So one note on that real quick, if I could just jump in, because I've seen some people asking about, okay, jousting's out. Like, how's it look? Have we doubled the users yet? Like, is jousting the answer to all of our problems? And I think, the short answer is no. Jousting is a step forward that expands the universe, gives us this great visualization of the unicorns, lets us do a little bit more and have this cool tournament structure. But, I'm really excited about these player versus player type experiences that are coming out with Team RPG, with Bumper Corns. It's quick gameplay, but it's still battling other humans. It's inherently a little bit more social, and it's another step forward kind of on that roadmap and that strategy. So I don't think jousting is supposed to be all of the answers to all of our problems, but it does move the needle forward, and all of this stuff coming out, I think, will give people an exciting taste of the potential with PvP. And I don't say that because of esports or anything like that. I just mean the ability to battle other humans instead of playing in the farm simulator is a really nice change of pace, and something that's obviously been missing. So just super stoked about that. Let's see these prototypes, and let's get some feedback, and let's iterate this bad boy.
Yeah, so there's more actually. So the two of the games for Team RPG prototype and then the Unicorn Party is something that I know community members, if you are paying attention to the second party updates, you're seeing some of our screen capture or some of the progress along the way. The next project update is Unigachi. So as the last monthly recap that we sent it out last month, Altitude Game is officially standing up all the initial testing build. They're picking up the project from where it was left off last year when Multiversal Venture part way with us. And currently we're working on some of the visual style and kind of doing a little bit experiment. One of the things I wanted to share with the community is we're treating all this second party project and then, touching into different game genre. Mainly, what we're trying to do here is really to start exploring CryptoUnicorn as an IP, but touching different kind of genre. You might be a player who really wanted to play competitive game mode. You might have a different needs that you wanted to be able to see your unicorn up close and just interact with them. Just be able to show your friends and families that your collections of unicorns. So there are many, many different ways that we wanted to open different game project to allow us to explore the possibilities. So that's the Unigachi updates. I'm pretty sure we'll have some more visual coming up by the monthly recap as well. Hopefully there will be some fun stuff that can give the team, can give the community a little bit more sneak peek on how this game is trending. Two more things. Oh, actually, three more things. Oh my God, sorry guys. I have laundry list, like really long.
Sorry, Rob, you'll get to talk at some point. It's all good, bud.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, Rainbow Rumble. This is one of the project has been a little bit quiet for a little bit. And as all the community here, we are all about transparency and honesty. So in the early February, we part ways with the developer Iguanabi because there is unable to fulfill our requirement of the project. And in the meantime, during this whole March duration, actually complete the new developer vetting process, and we are currently working with a new developer that is currently onboarding and ramping up their both backend and front-end engineer at the moment. So this studio, I will provide a little bit more detail on the monthly recap. But this studio, they have very solid experience on multiplayer real time. And they're also having very solid experience on the R. They work on AAAs, free-to-play games. One of the really cool things that this studio have already done is the Blanco Block Party. So they are not unfamiliar with Web3. They're also top-notch game developers. So we're really, really happy that we have the opportunity to work with them. So more to come. The project is going, and we have a lot of really exciting design that is coming up. The very last one, I'm going to do a shout out for all the Shadowcorn owners. So we're in the very, very last stage. Hopefully live op producer is not going to kill me, but we're in the very last stage to finalize our toy vulture. So people who have participated the early hatcher event, if you're the top 100, the vulture will be dropped very soon. There's a lot of schedule of airdrop and things that the live op team is working on, but it will happen pretty soon. So you will know if you are the lucky first 100. And we've been working with Isma Toys. Their production has been going pretty on track. There was a little bit hiccup during the winter. There's a lot of storm and electricity issues. So we have a little bit, like probably about 2 weeks delay based on our original schedule. But right now we are trending pretty well for later April that the toy production will be ready to claim. So vulture will come up first, and then the toy will be ready to claim for whoever end up with the vulture. Yeah, and then just yesterday they sent me a photo of all the Shadowcone packaging. We have this letter paper box with like a glossy over of the Shadowcorn icon on it. It's looking pretty sleek, and hopefully I'll be able to share a little bit more photos pretty soon. Last but not least, this is a collaboration project with community team. So we just wrapped up season 1 Unigil. I don't know, Carla, if you want to drop what I captured in the office just not too long ago, like 40 minutes ago.
Be taking over Sparkly Unicorn for
Oh yeah.
now.
Let's see,
Bear
where
with me.
is the photo? Me.
Yeah.
Fluffy, can you help me to find the photo? I think I put it somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I am
But
not the
maybe we can
best
just keep that as a
Discord
little
person.
bit of a surprise. So go ahead. I'll just look for it.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. So that is, we have set it up something as a digital frame, and CM team has been start loading in a lot more fun stuff for our decoration in the office. And then we've been featuring the Mighty Unigil winner for the season 1. Yeah. Let me send the image to Fluffy. Dun, dun, dun. That is all of my updates. And meanwhile, I'm going to hand this microphone to Rob. Sorry, talking too much today.
I think my update's going to be a little bit underwhelming after that. Mostly sort of tactical stuff. As you guys hopefully know, we shipped Jousting last week, which was a huge effort from the team. It's our biggest single launch since the actual 1.0 of the game. It is also the most polished and kind of feature complete chunk of code that we've shipped since then. So if you see engineers around in chat or anywhere else, give them a pat on the back because they worked really, really hard. And I hope that that is visible to you guys. I can certainly see a lot of good stuff in there. I don't know how much we can really share right now. Bugs and small improvements to Jousting are obviously kind of folded into our normal cadence. And we'll be talking more about kind of where that's going to go in the longer term. Preseason obviously is not the end of the road, so there's going to be more Jousting stuff, but that's kind of all being scheduled out and figured out right now. We're kicking off our next sort of major chunk of features, and the focus kind of there was a pretty lengthy discussion a couple weeks ago about improvements to the Web3 UI and sort of the flow of blockchain transactions from the game. So that's been pushed up our priority list, and we're going to be focusing on taking a lot of the pain out of airlocking, land and unicorns in and out, stashing currency in and out, loot boxes in, keystones out. And then the last chunk of that work, which we're gonna, is a little bit more experimental and a little bit more involved, but we're gonna kind of go into it as hard as we can, is improving the nursery flows, which are very, very complicated. But the whole goal here is to take away the pain, let you guys kind of keep playing while stuff is going in the background, and kind of improve that whole quality of life there. There are some improvements to quests coming, some sort of small upgrades around that should be pretty fun, and let the design team do some more, give them a little more creative freedom to do interesting stuff there. And then sort of outside the main game, we've got some work kind of in pre-production mode. We're getting started on the Shadowcorn staking project, which I can't talk too much about, but it is happening. And as Rice mentioned, we've got a new bank contract going out pretty soon here for, we're calling it the Satellite Bank. That's kind of how it's our game bank for second party and third party games and applications. And that's sort of a way that we can support the community to do experiences with unicorns, with land, with NFTs, Shadowcorns, and give them a way to interact with our economy, but not introduce too much risk. So it's kind of a firewall between each point of liability. On the horizon, we've got a lot done on delegation. I think that's probably coming up pretty soon here. I don't know how much we really want to talk about that. And then Shadowcorns Act 2, the real meal deal, is going to be kind of quickly following staking. So that's also, we're kind of tightening up exactly what the experience is going to be there. And then just sort of a general kind of piece of news. We're still looking for a lead blockchain engineer to kind of come in and share the load of our Solidity blockchain Web3 kind of work, and head up that team. If you know anybody who's got some experience there and kind of wants to get involved, shoot me a DM or go to our website and Laguna.games, and shoot us an email from there with an application. I think that's what I got.
Awesome. Wow, those were a lot of updates from everyone. I mean, April's going to be a heck ton of a busy month for us and for the community, and we just love that we are growing and growing. Okay, so let's get this town hall started. We have a 3 questions per person rule. If a question has been answered previously, you'll have to ask something else. Any questions related specifically to your account or a Zendesk issue, please reach out to us on the mod support channel so that the CM team can take care of it for you. There are also questions that are better answered by other specialists in Team LG, so we might have to get back to your question at the end of the town hall if that's the case. But don't worry, I'll make sure that they will all get addressed, or rather, Witty will get them addressed. To ask a question in voice, please press the request to speak button. The button looks like a raised hand. You can queue up at any time. Once we accept your request, you'll see a green bar at the top of your Discord. Click accept to begin speaking. We also have written questions. It's on the Town Hall Bulletin Forum channel on the Town Hall 33 thread. Take note that we prioritize spoken questions over written ones. You can also head on stage and ask any question that you may find there. But first, we have the anonymous questions, and we accept a maximum of 5 anonymous questions per town hall.
Wow.
Let me just get that up. I did read it a bit earlier, and not surprisingly, it's about jousting.
I got a question. Is the real meal deal the official name of whatever that is? I haven't heard that yet. That's a mouthful.
I don't know. I got nervous and words just started happening. I'm sorry, everybody.
I'm gonna write that one down. The real meal deal. There's some magic there. I'm not sure where we're gonna use it, but all right. Sorry.
Ooh, okay. Here we go. The first one. Okay, I was about to say their name, but then I realized this is anonymous, so I'm not gonna say their name. Have mercy on me, community. This is my first time. All right. Okay, so we have the first anonymous question here. Question number 1. The user said, I would like to know what the internal reaction was when it was obvious that 6 hours after release of jousting, most people already quit jousting and massively dumped all their jousting-related in-game assets. What's the plan to counter this, and how long will it take? I know it's called pre-season, but that doesn't mean it's not important to succeed from the start. I feel this could have been avoided by releasing information before the release. We all could have seen it wasn't going to work in its current state. Damn, what a way to open.
Yeah, again, we can quickly take on that. We have call for help kind of happening in the background. Zyori, you want to take a look?
Sorry, a call
Yeah.
for help in the background.
Yes. Let me just tag you over here. So generally, I wanted to also just use the opportunity for kind of like talk with the community about like how Laguna Game usually how we approach game project and game feature. You know, one of the things that we do, especially when Joust we're launching with preseason. For TRPG, we're doing prototype. One of the things we really wanted to do is to have conversation with community. And honestly, everyone's feedback we heard, and the team is making plans. There are fixes coming on the way. We made a lot of planning and also decision that is based on the best understanding that we think it will be contributed in a fun and making sure everyone will be able to enjoy. And the preseason is sort of a way of developers to looking at how the player actually behave, because we have the best guess and we believe this is going to work. And there are things that we build the tech that is allow us to make changes and tuning. And this is what the preseason is for. And that is also why that we're spending a lot of time having conversation with the community here, but also we're doing very strategic changes that internal team has been doing some planning.
Yeah, I think
Fluffy,
one of
do you
the
want to? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I think one of the trickiest things about this kind of game design is what's the right balance of quote pay to win. You know, if just like the unicorn with the highest number wins every time, obviously that's not very fun. And if it's too random, that's also not very fun because it feels a little bit meaningless. So there needs to be like a balance there where the better one wins most of the time. You know, as you've probably picked up by now, I'm always partial to things that give more like player interaction, but those things are always a little bit more complicated to build. So you know, this is like the first version. You can always add more on top of this. So while I agree the starting point is really important, I think it's always important to remember that our design philosophy is going to skew towards we want to show it to you earlier rather than later. So that's also a fine balance of what's too early, you know, what's like the right amount of polish to make sure it's ready for you guys to play it in mass, but also not too late that we can't implement your feedback in a meaningful way. So that's the forever quest and kind of forever challenge that we'll have to balance. And every release is a little bit different, has different parameters, you know, different stakes, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it starts with these kind of conversations for sure. But yeah, I think this is the starting point. We hear you loud and clear about having some breakpoints so that there's more. It's not just about breeding the best unicorn with the highest stats, but it's about these kind of some sort of a system or brackets where there's ways that unicorns in the middle have advantages in certain situations, and that creates more opportunities for people with quote unquote bad unicorns, if you will. Rob, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to tack on to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you already kind of said it, that like, you know, like pre-release is the soonest we can give you this information, you know, like any sooner and it doesn't really mean anything because it's still kind of in the idea phase. Generally, like talking about the question and sort of the language used in there, like saying most people already quit, isn't really based on anything. You know, saying that everybody already dumped all their jousting assets, like of course the assets are going to start getting burned. This is the first time there's been a sync for those. So you know, as a community, as a DAO, like we're in this together. We're working on this, you know, collaboratively. You know, we're trying really, really hard to bring in community feedback. We've gotten a lot of good ideas in development and like in the design team from the community. But there's also, you know, an enormous amount of like technology and constraints and limitations that make it very hard for us to turn on a dime and just, somebody said something in Discord, okay, let's jackknife in another direction. We're a big ship, and it takes us a while to kind of change direction like that.
Yeah, so the Ask the Devs channel is a great spot for stuff like this because those are really like design specific questions, and those are the people that can dive deep and both digest that feedback in more detail and then also have the power to action it if there's something there that can be distilled and added into the mix. So yeah, the feedback is good. Keep it coming. Utilize those specific Discord channels, and it will get read. I also, like Rob said, I just wanted to note quickly that the free market thing. I see people often comment anytime like, "Wow, somebody sold a whole bunch of assets," or "Look, this guy just listed a whole bunch of stuff." That does happen. It's kind of always going to happen. It's great to see the opposite happen when people want to buy stuff, but that is just the nature of the free market, and it's not always the best marker of. It's not everything. It doesn't give the full context of the picture. So just keep that in mind, I guess. It's a thing to celebrate that people have the ability to buy and sell assets freely at their own accord. That's like a big feature of what we're doing here. So we should just think about that when people sell and not overreact. There's always going to be speculation built in when there's a new thing coming out. Some people will speculate. Some people will sell. It's kind of always bound to happen. We're always going to do our best to keep that in mind as well. And it's a balancing act, but I not overly concerned yet. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, coding not easy, friends. Community management not easy, friends. Okay, we have another jousting related question. For the next anonymous question, is it possible to have a rookie league with max stats on a full range of levels to a rookie championship? My initial thought is max combined stats of something like 1,300 for this league, and only up to level 2 boosters can be used. That's question number 2.
Definitely another good specific question, I think, to drive towards the Ask the Devs channel. But that is a feedback that I've heard commonly. I don't know exactly what the most elegant solution is, but I think suggestions like that are on the right side of the spectrum that make a lot of sense to me. Rice, I'd love to hear your thoughts on, what you think could be an approach at this kind of thing.
Rob, can we talk about if it's technically possible? I think our team is already looking at a lot of different kind of bracket. Let's just let the community know if it's technically possible. And then the next thing is when we can make it happen. So that will we can put something back into the team. Again, the team is already working on a lot of bracket design, and then we will have more and more different options. And then players will be able to experience.
Sure. I mean, in code, anything's possible given enough time and resources, which is like a non-answer. But so I guess maybe part of the reason that Joust was a big feature for us is that we built some systems under the hood. And one of those is a constraint system that lets us do things like tie stats to a feature or gate level, of your land or of a building to different features. As we go, that's a flexible system that's meant to get bigger and bigger. So we add new constraints, and then anything in the system can start using that. So we have one already for minimum stats, and I believe we already support maximum in there as well. So it's more a matter on this one specifically of building out and testing some new brackets, making sure that they work sort of in the design side, in the tuning data, in the economics, that those can't be gamed, that kind of thing by like rookies coming in and just spamming a bunch of bot players or something. But yeah, technically that's totally something that we've been hearing a lot about over the last week. And I think that's kind of a high priority at the moment from the design side.
All right. Okay, you heard it, community. Question number 3. When jousting weekend tournament, I believe that we have that posted already as a schedule. I'm not sure. Have we? No, not yet. But I almost revealed it. But like, I know it's going to be quite near. Have we, Witty? I don't think we have yet. But I'll
I
let
think
people
the answer we can announce into the Ask the Dev channel. So why don't we have Witty post it for the community so we get straight answer?
I believe that we already have it scheduled on Twitter. I'm just not sure if we have it out yet. But if you guys want to reveal it, go ahead. The town hall is the perfect platform to do so. If
It's
not,
going to be the tournament is going to start in 2023, March 24. What is
There you
that T and 00 thing? That's like the standard time zone? Yeah, I'm gonna let Witty post it because Rice doesn't know how to read time. That's a really real struggle for me.
Oh, I have a more interesting question up next. When jousting hard caps on brackets?
I think that's the same system that we kind of talked about in the previous one, or will be supported by the same system.
Yeah, I think the answer to all those kind of things is we hear you that just that right now there needs to be more layers to it. There are a number of different solutions. We have some people evaluating what's the most elegant solution in terms of what requires the least amount of programming and effort with the best possible outcome and results to make jousting as impactful for as many different types of unicorns as possible. So we're still working on it. We don't have that exact solution to present to you right now in this town hall, but that's really high on the priority list and something that we're very much strategizing on.
The last question of this user is, what are some plans on bringing, or I guess making jousting more engaging?
We have the answer from our beloved Corbin. Should I just read it out loud before we post it?
Yeah.
All right. He said, jousting campaign technically begins next week. So we will be excited to see how those perform. But generally, the jousting release and launch has been successful so far.
It's a further out feature, kind of towards the end of preseason, or maybe this will be the what we signify the main season starting with. We have some plans to tie performance of unicorns, like individual performance, back to the blockchain. So there will be kind of some idea of who's good and who's maybe not the best at jousting, and that'll start to become more of a differentiator kind of in the marketplace for individuals. So we'll kind of get into more of those details as we get closer to that feature.
All right. This next question isn't really related to jousting. If we have snowflakes and not enough of them and some snowballs, can they be burnt or sold for something at the end of the event? Some of us came in late in this process and don't have enough to matter.
It's a good question. I have the same
answer
question.
from Corbin. I'm just going to keep reading Corbin, feeding us
Good.
the answer here.
Good. This is good.
All right. Snowflakes will be redemption items post the completion of the event. You will want to make sure you convert as many of the input items into snowflakes as possible.
Yeah,
That is the answer, community.
Yeah, I remember pretty well in the Medium article that we were like, okay, guys, you really, really, really have to do your best to convert these items into snowflakes. Because snowflakes are the only thing that will have redemption quests post the event. So there's still time.
But you want snowflakes, though. I'm cool if I just have a bunch of snowflakes and I'm just sitting on them. That's fine. I just want to use all my stuff to make snowflakes. Yes. Do I have that correct? Okay, good.
Exactly.
Whew. Close one.
All right. Last one. Are there any... Ooh, another jousting question. I guess people are just really...
it's good. People are excited about jousting.
Yeah. Are there any updates coming for jousting? I guess probably things in the pipeline. Many people cannot play because of having low stats. Maybe... Oh, this is similar to the other question. Maybe a league or a max stat system. I think this was already answered above, so I'll just move on to the next anonymous question, and this will be our last one before we ask people to come up to stage so that they can speak. The last one is, any updates or sneak peek for the Shadowcorn gameplay?
I believe our team is working on the roadmap, and we're trying to finalize some of the detail. As previously, both our Katicorn and Aaron have talked about, we're working on the roadmap after Joust. So that's something the team is actually currently focusing on. So we're trying to put a lot of information together, including some of the visual development our team has been working on, so that will help us to explain better of our ideas and visions.
Yeah, I was working on this yesterday. You guys maybe don't really see this, but the design that we do on blockchain features is super constrained. Running smart contract code, you kind of have the restraint or the constraint of like running code on a Casio calculator watch or something. So the big back and forth, and the reason it's very, very delicate to kind of design those features, we get a lot of requests from the design team, like we want to build a 4X map exploration, combat game on the blockchain. Like, I want to do that too. We have to come up with really, really clever ways of like limiting down how expensive that is to run. And it takes a lot of back and forth for us to find, what we can do that feels the right way and sort of is a cool experience and is also still sort of feasible technically. So we are in the middle of that for Act 2. The sort of precursor to Act 2 is going to be more of a sort of a staking kind of a little bit of a workshop kind of idler sort of thing. And that is kind of going into active development. Probably, I was going to try and do the kickoff today, but I need to get a little bit of sign off. So we'll probably kick that off and start development like next week.
So it's still a little scary for me because I'm new and I don't know exactly where the lines are of what's been announced, what's still quiet, what isn't. But I think for the Shadowcorn stuff, it's just important to think about that whole Shadowcorn kind of experience and that vertical, sort of as Rob was just saying, as something that's designed to be like a really Web3 heavy blockchain specific experience that is more browser based and lighter on the UI. And that's not to be confused with like the mobile games that we're building that are much more interactive and kind of OpenGL and feel like, the kind of mobile games you're used to playing. I think they're totally different verticals, and I think that's really awesome that we're trying to maintain a presence kind of on both sides and expand the IP to touch both parts and have them connect in terms of having relevance to the economy. So I think it will make sense once more of the pieces are deployed and it'll all be put together. Right now, we're looking at a system that has a few parts that haven't been deployed yet. So it's like the system doesn't make sense. It's like, yeah, you're kind of right. Yeah, there's a few pieces that haven't been launched yet. So I always hate to say that, like, just bear with us a little longer till we get those pieces out there. But this is a little bit like that. However, I'm stoked that Shadowcorns gives us a way to do some really Web3 native stuff, and then we also have the freedom to build some like really cool like regular UI games. And feel free to correct me if I said anything wrong there, Rob. But at least that's been my impression talking to Aaron over the last couple of weeks.
No, I think that tracks pretty well.
All right. Okay, that's the last of our anonymous questions. Let's have the other questions, guys. You could come up on stage. You just have to click the request to speak button down below. We already have one person here by the name of Radam. I will invite you to speak now. There you go. Hi. You're on mute if you're speaking.
Oh no, we lost him.
Oh no.
Wait, was leaving an option here? I didn't get that.
Wait, we could leave this whole time? No, I'm kidding.
The only wrong answer is pass.
Come on, guys. I know you have a lot of questions. go ahead and click the request to speak button. There
Oh,
we go.
he's coming
We
back. Yeah. We'll blame
There you
Discord
go.
Mobile.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Sound
Yep.
great.
Awesome. Sorry about that. I had to figure it out. First of all, I want to say thank you guys for all your hard work. I really enjoyed the launch of Jousting. I know there's a lot of negativity in the community. That's just how people are on the internet. So I kind of wanted to bring more of a positive spin to things. Specifically, I enjoyed the UI rollout. The rolling of the farms was an unexpected surprise for me specifically. So whoever's idea that was, kudos. That was really cool to see. But my first question about the UI is there any plans in the near term for an update for sorting the inventory tab? Because for me specifically, it's kind of one of the bigger annoyances in the game.
Rob,
That
you want
is
to speak for it?
I was gonna say, I think that is good feedback. I kind of agree. Yeah, Rob, if there's something you want to add, that's one I was gonna jot down in my notes though to think about a little more.
This is one where I'm going to get in trouble because I have not been playing the version you guys are playing. We've been adding kind of sorting and filtering, as we have time to a lot of different places. So, I don't know what the priority is, but like over time, it's our goal to kind of have that sort of ability all over the place. We know that those are nice to have features. Usually they're not required to launch something. And usually we kind of think, get it out when it's minimum viable product, and then we'll sweeten it up later. So, I mean, raising that as a desire kind of bumps it up our list. But, all across the board, there's all sorts of UI stuff that we want to improve everywhere. It's just a matter of time and priority.
One thing
Awesome.
I'd note there also, as a recent hire that's been thinking about UX and user flow and stuff, I think part of the strategy for Laguna has been like, hey, we got to get the MVPs out there. Let's just focus on heads down building these products. We know they need to be polished, and we're going to go back and polish them. And that's already starting to happen. Like I'm seeing UX prioritized more and more in the roadmaps and kind of the blueprints. And then also hiring people like myself, hiring Franklin. There's been a few others that have come in, and we're more focused on that kind of front end UX design type stuff. And I think Franklin in particular is going to have a really big impact. He's got so much outside industry experience. I think he's going to teach all of us a thing or two about how to organize data and make it look really sexy. So that stuff is increasing in priority, which feels really good for somebody like me.
Fantastic. Jousting specifically, I want to preface this with I have a poker background. I'm very much into that game. I used to play a ton of online poker. For me, for jousting, it's kind of that gambling aspect. If I win, I get to increase my farm. I can build it up a little faster. To watch my lower stack corns, 1300 something, beat an 1800 stack corn was awesome. Like I was jumping up and down and screaming. It was a great time. I loved it. So like I really enjoy the gambling aspect, and I know you guys are working really hard to kind of figure out what's the right thing to do. But from a poker player standpoint, some things in our community that we do are mystery bounty tournaments, where you could take a percentage of the rake, and then you have a tournament where one of the players is a mystery bounty, and whoever knocks that person out, they get that bounty. Or if that person wins the tournament, they get their own bounty. So it's just another way to kind of spice things up to make it a little more enticing for people to play, give them more of that randomization. Jackpot tournaments are also something that's really popular on online poker, where you might enter the 15 or the 50 RBW tournament, but 1 out of 100 of them, you get 10 times the rewards or whatever it might be, if you win that tournament or wherever you place at. Another cool thing I think that would help with community engagement is heads up battles or challenges. Like I would love to be able to battle my friend's corn and put RBW up for it and kind of get more of that gambling aspect to it. Also, I wanted to add my 2 cents. This isn't really a question, but my last statement, I guess, is what I think would be really cool about maxing stats. Like, let's say you had a bracket of max stats of 1,000. That introduces a whole new reading strategy to figure out what's the best corns to have for that maximum amount. Plus, it could also give a little bit more incentive for new players to to not necessarily go after the 2,000 stat corns to try to breed those to make profit, but they could, stick with those lower levels and put in the time to strategize that way. So that's all the questions I have. I'm super excited. I know it's brand new, polished, all that stuff. I think you guys are doing an awesome job, and everybody that's being negative, all feedback is appreciated, but have a little bit more perspective in my opinion. But that's all I have to say.
Really appreciate that. Wow, that's awesome. Really good feedback as well. I share some of those thoughts. One of my first things was, man, I'd love to challenge my friend. I'd love to be able to, anytime I get in an argument with somebody, be like, all right, let's take it to the arena. Let's go. So some great feedback there. Really appreciate it.
The friend thing is interesting. That's sort of another system that's being developed right now behind the scenes, is integration with Lens protocol. And this is something we haven't really talked about because it's a system that we're going to be pushing out for features in the future. So by itself, it's not really that interesting until we have interaction. But you guys should definitely, go pick up a Lens protocol profile and kind of start working in that direction, because that's definitely something we're thinking about, is like, how do we start connecting people, but still keep it Web3 and keep it a little bit anonymous and decentralized.
That's some great alpha right there. That's certainly a way to be ahead of the curve in this environment. And I have like a firm confirmation, just so everyone's clear, that not only are we aware about like the Max Stats tournament, but I think some iteration of that is already in progress and scheduled for this future release. So the plan is to try to iterate pretty quickly. This part is pretty locked in, and we're going to push some immediate updates and then also strategize on more long-term updates. So you shouldn't have to wait too long, I think, to see some improvements. I don't know the exact date, but we're working on it. Everyone's really excited about jousting, so now that it's out, the team is really stoked to refine it and just chew through all of this data and feedback that's come out. So good stuff ahead.
Yo, I'm so relieved that that's finally out. I was like, oh, these questions. I know that there's something down the pipeline, but we were like, oh, is it supposed to be out now yet? But thank you for the shout out, Katicorn, about the max stat bracket. It's been highly requested by the community. All right, we also have another one coming up on stage, Goliath Rules. Oh, there we go. Come up on stage. Hi.
Hey, I thought I'd join you a little late, but I did get the note on the max stat thing. I'm really excited about that. I know I was fussing a little bit about that, but I wasn't doing it in a negative way. I'm pretty stoked about jousting. I gotta say, just in general, I love the animation. I love the characters. I loved it when my character basically stuck his tongue out to the other unicorn. That was hilarious. I mean, in general, there's a lot of really great stuff in this package, and that I really look forward to kind of where things are going in that. I guess so. My question already was answered before my hand went back down. So max stat is coming. That's great, awesome, good to hear. And I guess in the end, I mean, I know that you brought up the Lens protocol thing, so then that leads me to the next question. Last time, I guess they had talked about doing some type of like data poll on names for like Lens protocol profile setup or something like that. I haven't looked into it yet, but is that still in potentially a process where that we could get set up over there with profiles?
Yeah, that's a whole tricky can of worms. Lens has they paused because they kind of hit a barrier on how complex their system could be, and this was a month ago when I talked to their engineer. They were in the process of shifting a bunch of their content off of Polygon main chain and ironically over to Arweave. They could have talked to us a year ago and we would have sent them that direction. But so they kind of had a freeze on new accounts, and I don't know if that's been lifted quite yet. But as soon as that, as soon as we're a little closer to shipping our version of it and integrating it, and hopefully when they kind of unlock again, we're going to be working with them to hopefully become a profile minting authority. If not, we'll kind of, I'm sure we'll try and get a deal going with them to at least do some like whitelisted stuff. But making sure you guys have the ability to get those profiles is important. And even if you don't, part of our system is going to be a fallback where we'll still allow you to kind of set up a username and profile image for yourself, even if you don't have a Lens protocol profile. And then if you do get one, that'll kind of overload the data that we've put in as a default for you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks.
I can confirm that if you have a new address that's never done Lens stuff, it just says, sorry, mate, come back later. So that's something that you can rest assured I'm interested in figuring out also. So we'll work on that as it's possible.
Okay, so maybe for right now, just kind of research what it's about and then just kind of wait for things
Keep
to
it
work
on the
itself
radar.
out.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, thanks. Yeah, the other question on the jousting thing was answered. So, I mean, just in general, I mean, I gotta say, man, the game in general is. I've only been in the game now for what 3 weeks and that, but I am so addicted to this thing. I mean, I love it. I love the farming piece. I love making, I got babies coming now and that kind of thing. So just good job. Just keep up the good communication and thanks.
Appreciate it. Yeah, work in progress. But the one thing I keep trying to remind people is that we've got a few new hires that are onboarding, myself included, but there's several others that are in mid and senior roles. So already starting to make their impact, but onboarding, it just sucks and is time consuming. It always feels like one step backwards to make 2 or 3 steps forward. So give us another month or two, get these people really onboarded and activated, and I think we'll continue to see acceleration in the product. So that again gets me just really excited. I feel pretty optimistic right now.
Loving that. Thanks, Goliath Rules. I guess since we're at the top of the hour now, we have a few written questions, just 3. Do you guys have time for that?
So?
Yeah?
Or I would say so, at least. I'm in favor of. Sorry, Rice, I just signed you up.
All right.
I can stay, but we're pushing back the next release by half an hour.
Oh no, community, what do we do? Okay, I guess I'll just make this really, really quick. Do we have the infrastructure in place for jousting to make changes to tourneys, increase size, increase count of waves, so we can support big tourneys with hundreds of corns, or is it not built being scalable? Yeah, that's the first question.
A Rob question.
Sorry, can you say that one again?
Hey, it's basically about scaling tournaments.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so scaling is kind of, it's something that we take pretty seriously, and we always, we try and do our best under time constraints and technical constraints to get a good sense of how things are going to perform. Obviously, there's never enough time to do all the testing we want to do, which is sort of the plight of the engineer. But we have designed and sort of done minimal testing on 128 tournaments. 256 is pretty big. I don't think our UI currently supports it. And we haven't really done load testing up to that scale on the server side. So, theoretically, it's very possible, but it's going to take a little bit of engineering work to get up there. I think, a faster solution to get people playing in that style is probably to do sort of tiered tournaments where you get a ticket to the next one. And then we kind of do gating that way, and simulate a bigger tournament by putting together, scramblers of smaller tournaments or something. So we definitely have a lot of levers we can pull that are not necessarily code to kind of get us to a similar place. Yeah.
All right. Okay, I guess this last question is a good closer. What's the general perception of the jousting launch? What went well, what didn't?
So I could take a stab at it, but that might be a good one for Rice.
I think day after Joust, we release overnight, and there's some really good numbers that happen. I believe overnight, within less than 24 hours, we had about 1,400 bracket that it was running. This is one of the smoothest, biggest feature many of our team have released. Everyone feel really proud and relieved. And there is so many of the community member that is participating and talking about what are the things they're looking forward to have and then what are the things they suggest. And the best part that internal team was talking about is we have built the infrastructure that will be able to make those changes, that is not ripping off the system we just built and then start over. It is all the things that we will be able to adding more effort and then making changes. That is one of the best things that developer can ever have is the infrastructure we created, we have room to expand. And the community's feedback is something that we expected with some of the things they're really feeling like right away, this is great. And then there are things that they, all of you let us know and say, hey, these are things that we really want to see. So again, this is one of the best dreams for all of us as developer that we believe we built something that is very close, not quite yet, but very close to what will makes you feel the game is fun. So we're very proud. I think many things we see for this release was so amazing. We couldn't stop watching, any random bracket ourselves. So for me, it's a really big success. And then all the little things, it's happening. The team is already scheduling some things, so I'm hoping everyone is looking forward to it.
I love that. I mean, personally, when Jousting launched, we were so ready, and then it just launched smoothly, like a small little baby. And it was okay. That was a weird, but sorry, Zyori, you were you were unmuting. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear Rob's perspective as well. I think as the newcomer, without a lot to compare it to, it felt smooth. I maybe have some scar tissue in terms of deployments and bugs and lack of QA testing and that kind of stuff. So it felt really good that I didn't wake up. I woke up early that next day at like 4 a.m., kind of in a cold sweat, expecting some, oh no, we had to turn it off, or some crazy issue, or oh, we realized there was this game-breaking bug, and that didn't happen, right? Things were actually really smooth. It was a great deployment, and when I woke up, there was just a cool set of early data to look at, and that felt nice. Now, on the other side of that, and I definitely contributed to this dialogue, and also with folks in the marketing department being new and still onboarding, could we have done a slightly better job hyping up the Jousting release? I think so. I definitely pushed for more of the like, hey, let's just like launch it and make sure everything works, and then we can always turn on the marketing machine a little bit later. I don't necessarily think that was a mistake, but I understand why people felt like, hey, there should have been more hype and noise and amplification around this. So definitely took that feedback to heart. And now that I'm getting more comfortable, I think around future releases we'll think about different ways to strategize and hype things up a little bit. So just reflections on both sides of the coin from someone who's totally new, and I didn't really do much for this launch. I kind of was just a cheerleader on the sideline. You guys had it all figured out already. So just my notes. Rob, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think it's, we have been looking at it as the minimum viable product, right? The smallest set of features that demonstrate what this thing is, and kind of the structure that we're going to hang different types of tournaments, different competitions, and game modes and stuff on top of. And really the first point where we can start getting community feedback. The feedback is, every time we hear complaints or whatever, like so-called negative feedback, most of the time those are actually kind of good things, because it means the players want more stuff, right? Like, we're not seeing people just like, oh, I hate it, I'm out. Like, that would be a bad reaction, obviously. But people saying like, boy, I wish this sure did this, like, why can't we have more of this? Like, those are all goals that we can put out there and start working towards, next iteration or first, kind of real season. So I think in that regard, the feedback has been very good. Also, the community probably doesn't know this, but every time we do a big release, our amazing community managers put together a little thread of like positive stuff that's getting said in different Discord channels and other socials, and the team gets like an enormous boost out of that stuff. So just FYI. But yeah, and then internally, this was a huge lift. The engineers, the designers, like the testing team, everybody who, and I'm missing a lot of people who contribute, in different ways, but everybody came together and put this thing together in a really, really tight time frame. It's a very, very complex simulation, which, even as complex as it is, like we cut down a ton of stuff that the design team, thought up. So I think the team did an amazing job, and really kind of came together in a way that was awesome to watch. So internally, we're functioning pretty well, and the team is working really well together. So that's a really nice thing for us to see, on our side.
I actually want to drop a few fun facts for the community. So, one of the things that we've done, as our first attempt for this like major marketing effort is if you guys follow our Twitter, if you guys are seeing all this bracket that we're running, each one of the unicorn is actually owned by our internal team members. So we did a full casting selection. Everyone kind of like sign up for their corns, and then we find like, the varieties of looking and then the class, and then we decide, okay, here are our jousting marketing team here. So we did a lot of internal capture, it was amazing effort from our art director, our technical lead, and then our engineer, everybody sitting in a room, and producers, everybody signing for the bracket, and then we record every single thing. And our amazing CM team also did all the editing, creating all this thing. You see, like we have baseball card looking of our unicorns now, so we show the stats. Most of our corns are, like not the best corn either, but we have fun. And this is something that we're very proud of as a team, and develop all this work. And you know what? One of the things happened in after Joust release, I literally have the chat with all the second party team. The bar just raised to a million miles higher. So let's get ready, and second party also need to keep up. So this is something that we're seeing. We're hoping all our vision, all this roadmap that we're creating more genre of the game, this will really help everyone to find something that is fun inside of the crypto unicorn portfolios.
I don't care what you say, Rice. My unicorn's a winner no matter where he places.
Well, they're all winners to me. I
Wow.
love my unicorns. Yeah, they just look cute and pretty. That's all they need to be. I'm not a stats person, so I just care about what they look.
All right, so that's the real alpha. So cosmetics confirmed. We've got at least one person here who's in it for the looks, not the stats.
Yes.
Zyori, you might eat your words once you challenge Rice to Team RPG. Oh no.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I need to work on my mobile gaming.
Yes.
Got to train up.
Practice that match 3. Do all the combos. Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for offering up the extra time, guys. And that concludes our bi-weekly Town Hall number 33. We'll see you next week for bi-weekly Town Hall number 34 with CEO and co-founder Aaron Beierschmidt. We appreciate your insights from the previous update and look forward to internalizing all the responses on the current game updates thread, so keep them coming. We'll post a recording of this town hall on our socials if you like to give it a re-listen. Don't forget to share this with your friends and fellow unicorn fam who couldn't make it. If you have more burning questions, feel free to reach out to our support channels, the Mod Support channel and the Ask the Devs channel, and now also Serious channel for you serious folks. This has been the LG Internal Team's Town Hall hosted by Fluffy Unicorn with Witty Unicorn on tech. Good morning, good night, and see you in game on Discord and in the forums, Unicorn fam. Night!
Bye-bye.
Can we get an ooh-woo from people? It's
Woo-hoo.
tradition.
Ooh, woo.
You cannot
That's a ooh woo.
Ooh-woo. Witty, come on. Witty, make this memorable. Like a yelp of an ooh-woo. Do it. I'm kidding. Good night, everyone. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Go ahead. Shoo, shoo, shoo.
Woo-woo.
Thanks,
Woo.
everybody. Don't be a
Thank you.
stranger with my office hours, and feel free to reach out in the DMs. I spend a lot of time on Discord, so don't be a stranger. All right, thanks a lot. See you next time.
Thanks, everybody.